We're in front of Julien's auction house. Normally, I'm not interested in pieces that are celebrity worn, but you know, being in Los Angeles and having this gift, really, of having a world-class auction house doing auctions, well, this one is pretty remarkable because they've got clothing from Marilyn Monroe, from Mae West, from Olivia Newton-John. I mean, the list just goes on. And so a lot of viewers have asked about going to auctions and have also asked about celebrity worn clothing. That's not really my world. But I'll tell you what caught my eye and why we're here is they actually have several costumes from one of Erte's last productions. So we're going to go inside and check it out. My fascination with Erte started when I was in my early 20s, and over the years I actually acquired a couple of Erte serigraphs and was lucky enough to actually meet him in around 1982 for his, or 83 for his 90th birthday. These pieces were created for an actual stage production, and the condition is incredible. So I'm wondering how long the production actually ran, because I don't think there's any damage in them whatsoever. What caught my eye was this amazing piece with the stars, and that's actually the piece that I want to hopefully acquire, but we'll see how competitive the bidding is. Because of the weight of the beads, they weren't able to put all of the Erte pieces out on mannequins, and I specifically asked if they would be willing to bring out another piece that caught my eye, which is here in this acid-free box. It is this incredible copper and white beaded garment, and because of the weight, I mean, you can only imagine. The cut on this is gorgeous. It has a cape that has lantern sleeves. We'll show the photograph that's actually in the catalog so you can see what the piece is. Now what's interesting is Erte designed these costumes for this play, but he actually had Tony Chase make the garments. And Tony Chase was a New York designer. He was actually Dolly Parton's favorite designer. And he designed for many of the Hollywood glitterati in the 80s and 90s. Sadly, he passed away from AIDS, but he's not a name that a lot of people are familiar with. He worked a lot with beads and rhinestones. So this is kind of a caftan, which goes over that incredible strapless gown. And both pieces look like they were never worn. And then this kind of Juliet cap. Wow. Okay, well, this is definitely another one I would be interested in. I've always been curious about the construction of larger headpieces, and if any of you live in the Bay Area or had the good fortune to see Beach Blanket Babylon, I mean, some of their headpieces are unbelievably big. This one is large, but to see his serigraph with this crescent moon headdress and then to actually see it in person is very exciting. I don't typically go after celebrity worn clothing, and I have a feeling that my willingness to put out the prices that these pieces might bring is tempered by my really looking at the piece for its value in design. So I love this 1930s Mae West gown. It's cut partially on the bias, the flutter sleeves, the sexy décolletage, the color, the buckle. I mean, everything about it is gorgeous, and it's in really beautiful condition. The other piece that I'm swooning over is this Mae West. They have it listed as gold lame, but it's actually silver lame brocade, and it's also a bias cut gown in beautiful condition, super sexy, with a little bit of a train. So those two pieces I want to bid on. When I came here yesterday to begin the preview, which is what spurred us on, and Mike had this genius idea of coming back and filming it so you guys can see what I see on a semi-regular basis. The person that was helping organize all of this mentioned to me that some of the largest interest is with the Olivia Newton-John pieces, which really surprised me because I obviously am gravitating to the things that are older. But in looking at her things, 3 items that really caught my eye for design, I mean, forget that they belong to Olivia Newton-John, are these rhinestone encrusted boots, ankle boots, the black one, the red platform, and the clear crystal boots that she used for performing. And God bless her, her shoe size is size 9. So if I can get these at reasonable prices, I'm going to definitely go for it. There's one other Olivia Newton-John piece that I'm very interested in, and it is, if you want to follow me, this beautiful robin's egg blue boho style chiffon layered dress. It was a dress that she wore when she sang I Honestly Love You in 1974, and it looks like the condition is pristine. So yeah, this is a piece that I would be very interested in too. Recognize this piece? I've just been told that the current bid, they're being sold as separates, is over $100,000, and that's not including the 25 to 28% premium that the auction house charges to the buyers. This ensemble, well, actually the film was designed by one of the great costume designers in Hollywood, Albert Wolski. If you IMDb him, you'll see his body of work is astronomically impressive. And to boot, he's a really kind gentleman, which to say that in Hollywood is a big BFD. In any case, I thought you guys would enjoy seeing a piece of iconic film memorabilia, and we'll see what it ends up selling for. I am here with Jennifer Lorenzi, who is the fashion and costume specialist at Juliens Auctions. And I have had the great pleasure of seeing Jennifer on a couple of occasions. You have handled some of the most incredible material, I think, that exists in the Western Hemisphere. Yes. Everything from like Elizabeth Taylor to you had the Joseph of Hollywood collection, Marilyn Monroe pieces that have sold for umpteen hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We actually sold the Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress for $4.8 million, and that's the record for the most expensive garment.
Wow.
Yes.
And that was, what, 2 years ago maybe?
2 to 3 years ago.
That's
yes.
Incredible.
It all kind of blends together. Yes.
So this particular auction is such an interesting mixture of icons, from Marilyn Monroe to Mae West to Olivia Newton-John. Can you tell us a little bit about how you accumulated so many interesting things?
Well, collections just keep coming to us because everybody's starting to know Juliens Auctions. And we started out, we thought we were going to have a very small Olivia Newton-John sale, but she fortunately has kept all her things over the years, and we have had so much interest in the sale, like internationally. She's so well loved, and we have great pieces from Xanadu that she wore to the Grammys, from physical era, and of course, like the most iconic is the grease jacket and pants, and those I can't wait to see how much they go for.
Well, we just met a gentleman who flew in from Mississippi just for Olivia Newton-John.
Okay.
And we were told that the pants and the jacket at this point, the bid is in excess of $100,000.
Correct, yes.
That's
yes,
mind-boggling.
Yes, yes. And I think she was wearing it for a little while on stage until she realized how special it was and was like, nope, I need to
Put
save
it away.
this. Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the proceeds from her auctions will go for her cancer research center.
Bless
So
her.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, amazing woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you think about how iconic pieces like John Travolta's white suit,
Yes.
and now this amazing
Yes,
ensemble
yes.
that's Olivia Newton-John's. And I mean, I'm curious to see how that incredible black and black lace and gold
Yes,
swimsuit of
yes,
Marilyn Monroe's.
yes.
I would imagine that that's going to fetch really
Yes,
high
we have a
prices.
lot of Maryland, and we have a no reserve Maryland section, and but really iconic costumes in that section, and that's film worn, and she was photographed in it, so you.
That pumps up the price.
That pumps it up,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Yes,
so cool.
yes.
Well, I do have my eye on about 8 lots. I'm not sure if I can actually make it to the auction, but I'm definitely going to be bidding
Oh,
online.
good for you.
So, but thank you so much for allowing us to come in and
Thank you.
film
It's
this.
good to see you, and
Really
thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jennifer. Well, I wanted to check out Juliens Auctions because I've been really curious to see if there's a huge difference in price from what would be considered fair market value, like in a boutique, either a curated boutique like this one, or let's say online or on First Dibs, versus items that are beautiful vintage items, but they have some celebrity attachment to it. So we saw, I attempted to buy maybe 8 to 10 items online, and sadly I didn't get one thing. So we went through and actually listed, for those of you who are curious what things went for. I'm going to start off with the Mae West items. So I was interested in the beautiful orange silk chiffon gown that was on the stage. It was estimated to go between $600 to $800. It sold for $1,920. The silver lame gown, right on the other side of the stairway, estimated to go between $800 to $1,000, sold for $4,375. No, I mean, if you're a Mae West fan, that's pretty fabulous to own a piece of her personal wardrobe. But I'm thinking of it not as a collectible that I would tuck away and put in my office until, you know, it was appropriate to show to somebody. But at those price points, there's absolutely no room for me. I would lose money selling them. That incredible headdress that they had on display was pretty close to its estimate. They said $1,000 to $2,000. It sold for $2,812.50. And let's say the Marilyn Monroe Make It Legal swimsuit that was in the window. Gorgeous, the black lace with the gold, estimated to go between $10,000 and $20,000. I wasn't interested in bidding on that, but I was curious to see what it sold for. Hammered at $37,500. These numbers are pretty incredible. So if you've gone to auctions, you know that the strategy is you have to really plan what you're going to buy for, what like you're really hot and heavy to get. And unfortunately, the Erte piece that I really wanted was the last Erte piece they had. So sad to report that 2 or 3 of the items that preceded the star hat and the beautiful, incredible star robe that had a dress underneath. Prior to that coming up, the Erte items that hammered for what I would consider pretty reasonable prices. But I wanted to save my money for the star outfit. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, the star ensemble, they estimated to go between $2,000 to $4,000. It hammered at $10,240, so I was out. The beautiful copper and pearl ensemble that was in the acid-free box that had lantern sleeves was a bargain at $2,560. And the other items, I'll just say, were actually pretty reasonable for Erte Tony Chase items. But here's the mind boggler. Okay, I was considering getting the Olivia Newton-John boots because they were good sizes, they were gorgeous, they were in perfect condition. And the 3 different pairs ranged in estimate between $400 to $600 and $600 to $800. And they hammered between $1,600 and $2,240. So I didn't buy any of those. But are you ready for this one? The Olivia Newton-John Grease Ensemble. The pants alone sold for $162,500. Yeah. That's the cost of a house in Midwest. And then the grease leather jacket sold for $243,200. That's just shy of $250,000. So there you have it. So to keep in line with going to Julien's auction, this week's show-offs, plural, are this beautiful pink dress and this fabulous ethnic blouse. Prior to moving to Los Angeles, I did a lot of rentals of costumes for film and TV productions. And to my right is a beautiful ethnic hand-embroidered blouse that Penny Lane wore in Almost Famous. The costume designer was Betsy Hyman, and I have all the paperwork to back it up, so I didn't just buy a really nice ethnic blouse and say this was Penny Lane's. The paperwork to substantiate that this was in fact the blouse that was worn by Kate Hudson. Everything from a copy of the invoice. At the time it was called the Untitled Cameron Crowe Project. And the date on it, interestingly enough, is December 28th, 1998. I will tell you what's curious is oftentimes when pieces come back from productions when they wrap, you'll get a ticket that says hold, and it'll tell you what scene and who the actor is. And the reason they do that is because there is a slight possibility that they may need to do a reshoot. So for continuity purposes, they don't want this piece to go out again on another project. So if they need to call it back, they've asked you to hold it. So I have the hold tags with Kate Hudson as Penny Lane, and there's actually several pieces from that production. But on this side, for those of you that love Tom Hanks films, Apollo 13, which starred Tom Hanks and Kathleen Quinlan, in the opening scene, they're hosting a party, and this dress gets a lot of coverage in that opening scene. It's a wonderful dress because it's made by a designer who was really, really fabulous in the 60s. And I love this designer because typically in the 60s, earlier on, it's not the case, but it's B.H. Ragge, and Ragge is spelled W-R-A-G-G-E. They would put the actual year that the garment was made. And this one says 1971, which is actually the wrong year for that film, but it read correctly. So Rita Ryak was the costume designer for that. She's prolific and pretty incredible. And yeah, so these are two of my celebrity worn garments, and that's it for my show off.